You're gonna preheat your oven to 275. If your oven is like a high heat, like if the heat element is on the top, you wanna make sure you're on the very bottom rack of your oven, okay? You wanna keep it as far from the heat as possible. You're gonna put it on a cookie sheet. Mm-hmm. No, just regular oven. You don't want to turn it to convention cooking. Just yeah, the oven in your house. Yeah, but your oven has convection. Some ovens have convection options. Don't turn on convection. No. You're gonna put it on the lowest rack in your oven. Make sure it's on a cookie sheet. I put aluminum foil on the cookie sheet just to kind of protect it. It will smell. It's gonna smell like burning butter to some extent. When it gets to that point, it probably means that it's cooked, and it will smoke a little bit, so make sure the windows are open in your house, okay? But it won't like pollute anything. You just don't want to inhale it for too long. So the rule is 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch, yes. No, I cooked it like this. This is why I'm showing you. The whole thing goes in your oven. The whole thing goes in your oven. That's why you put it on the lowest rack. So if you have a really big model, you have to do something very specific. You have to hold it like this and put it in your oven, right? If you made it too big. And the only way it's gonna support itself is if something is holding it up. So I tell people, get aluminum foil and make like a really stiff surface and put it on the pipe if it's too high. And anybody else who's kind of high.
How about this?
Okay.
This one should fall.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's small.
It's small.
Height is what you're worried about,
Oh, the height.
not size,
Oh.
right? And if you put yours on the side, it's gonna bend and break. So you wanna make sure it's like this. So if it's not gonna fit in the oven, you can put it in sideways. I just grab a whole bunch of aluminum foil and make like a little stand for it so it can stay like this. Does that make sense? Okay. Still on the cookie sheet, everything else still stable. And then you're gonna take parchment paper, just like regular parchment paper, and just cover it so it doesn't burn, okay? You don't need to like crumple it around it, just kind of like lay it on top, all right? So mine took about 40 minutes, and that's about this size, okay? So you can compare kind of like yours. My ball is really big in here, so I only have about 1/4 inch of clay all the way around. But most of you guys will probably have between 45 minutes, okay? Between 35 and 45 minutes. No, because the outer shell will keep it solid. Yeah, it's better to undercook it than overcook it. And it's when it comes out of the oven, it's gonna feel soft. It's actually not soft, it's curing. So it's actually gonna feel like you can still carve into it, and you can, but just leave it. It's gonna cool down. As it cools down, it's gonna get harder and harder and harder. So this took about 8 hours to cool. Don't touch it when it comes out of the oven. It is piping hot, okay? Unless you have no feeling in your fingers like me, it's gonna burn you, okay? So does anyone have any questions about the cooking part? All these directions are online, okay? They're on the module for sculpting. It's on the bottom, you'll see like a little worksheet. You can pull it up as a PDF, all right? Any questions about that? Okay, when it comes out, can everyone see the cracks on the video? Okay, I'm not looking behind me. Everyone can see those cracks, they're big, right? And they're all over the place because this is old clay. So what I used is something called plastic wood. It's very cheap. This is like $1.50 from Home Depot, okay? If you have cracks and you want to fill them, this works well. Doesn't really matter that this is clay. It's gonna treat it like it's actually wood. And I just got a spatula, a really thin palette knife, and I just kind of placed it all over. And you could see that it's pretty messy. This is very soft. It is very easy to sand, and that's why I say use this, okay? It's called plastic wood. I'm gonna post all this online, okay? Do you guys see that? Plastic wood, okay? So for those of you that have really big sculptures, you're probably gonna crack them. So you might have to fill them, especially if the cracks get big, okay? And then you're gonna take these, and you wanna wait like at least maybe a half an hour to an hour before you start patching it. I have a whole bunch of 400 and 800. Each one of you should probably take just a little sheet home like this, okay? So I'm just gonna leave them out. You guys can cut yourself a piece, so you don't have to buy that too. And this is called wet sandpaper. You can also sand it dry, but I like to sand it wet because it's a lot easier. And you're basically gonna take it across the surface of your model, and it will really quickly create those smooth textures that you wanna come back to. So I'm gonna sand this whole thing. It's gonna be very boring, but I'm gonna show you how to do this. So I use the 400 grit sandpaper first because it's pretty aggressive. You can also use like 320. It says 400 right here, okay? The lower the number, the rougher the sandpaper, if you don't know these things right now. But I want you to cover it in paper so that like a student next semester can use it, or else we're gonna get like paint and like dirt and grime all over this. This is just my demo model stand, so I don't care about it. So just make sure that after you take it out of the oven, just tape paper to it and just cover the bottom of it so it doesn't get ruined, okay? Because when you start painting on this thing, it's gonna get just messed up, yes. And water, yeah. It's water-based sandpaper, yeah. And that way it kind of like helps to prevent any like major abrasion. So it's just water, yeah. Can you see the bottom? No. So you can see I really didn't like cover the bottom of it that well. I was kind of being lazy, but that's okay. I'm really gonna take anything off. So I'm gonna smooth out the front of his bone. Okay. And then I'm just gonna clean my hands, and then I'm just gonna clean them all off, okay? So I like to, at the very end of it, so he's pretty much done, just take a wet paper towel and get all the debris off. Looks like I'm giving him a bath. Okay, because he's gonna have to be perfectly dry before we start. And that's what it's gonna look like. Anyone have any questions about that? Everyone good? Okay, I'm gonna stop this video. So the first thing you wanna do is pull up either one of two things. You can either use gesso, or you can use white acrylic. I don't care which brand you use. I like Golden. I think they're the better brand, okay? But I don't expect you to go buy this. This is like $40. If you have like acrylic paint at home, just use white acrylic paint. It works fine, okay? First thing we're gonna do is get a really big brush and open this brand new, come on, there it goes. I just don't wanna splatter it all over my shirt. If you ever... All right, so just a regular palette. This is like what I use for a palette. It's like what we call a butcher tray. And I want to get this off because that has too much oil in it. So really big brush, and I am pretty aggressive with this dude. All right, this is not like a dainty process. The key is to have no brush strokes. So as soon as I like apply the paint, you're gonna see how I smooth it out. All right. I wanna get up into his nose, up into the grooves. And I know I have like about maybe 8 to 10 minutes to work with gesso before it starts to dry, or acrylic paint. So I have a good amount of time just to kind of put it on the surface and just to get it there. If I put a brush stroke on the surface, all that wonderful work that I did, smoothing it out, now we'll have like a permanent brush stroke on it. So I don't want to do that. So you'll notice like I'm not really applying too much paint. It's really, really thin. You should not have like a clump of paint sitting on your model, right? If you do that, you're gonna ruin it. There's no point in doing that. So the key is to just get paint on there, and you're gonna paint this in layers. So a lot of the questions I have is, do I have to do this? No. If you are spray painting it, I'm gonna show you how to do both, traditional and spray paint. If you are spray painting it like this guy right here, where it's like half and half, right? Do you guys see this? The spray paint comes with the primer. So all I have to do is sand it, tape it off exactly where I want it, and just spray paint. So we're gonna spray paint it after I paint it by hand, and I'm gonna show you guys how to spray paint it outside, okay? So if you wanna kind of just spray paint it, you don't need to worry about it.
Acrylic paint with water, or just you put it?
Just a little bit of water.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's water-based, yes.
To make it.
And cool, you could even just do this, and I don't really care. I don't require you to paint it in any way. You can do anything that you want. The only thing that I want you to do is understand the process, and I want to see at least one coat of paint on the surface. I've had people paint it like Dia de los Muertos and go crazy. It looked really cool. I've had people just paint it like gold, which I will show you how to do. I have no requirement for you other than I just want you to understand this process, so you need to do it once. So this is the third coat. The white should look like this around the time that it's going to be ready to paint, so that you don't really see the gray coming through it, and if you do, it's not really interrupting your model that much. Okay. To kind of think about the surface like it's actually a bone. So I will come back in and I will sand the gesso. So I'm gonna paint the bone side like it's natural. I'll paint the sculpture side like it's different, to expose areas that are like different colors. So I know I told you to paint the whole thing white, and I'm gonna actually ruin it intentionally to go for like a naturalistic look. And what that's gonna, can you guys see that okay, or is it kind of blurry? Okay. So when I'm mixing a white, no one's really talking, so I'm gonna ignore you all. When I'm mixing a white, I always wanna kind of like neutralize it a little bit. So I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow. I'm using water-based paints again. I'm gonna add just a touch of black to kind of get to that gray. And it wants to be a little warm, so just a little bit of red. Okay. And I don't want the paint to be thick. I actually want it to be almost like a watercolor. And you'll see when it goes on, it's gonna kind of connect with the white that's underneath it and start to coat very, very smooth on top of those surfaces. Now, because I'm painting one side one color and the other side the other color, I would highly recommend this if you're planning on doing this. You want to create a barrier so you're not fixing your sculpture. So I will tape off any seam that I don't want to paint. And I'm not gonna push the tape down, I'm just gonna like leave it really loose, okay? I just wanna make sure like I have something like protect me from like painting over, okay? You don't have to split your sculpture in half, I'm just doing it for the demo. All right, so this is coat number 1. All right, I'm not gonna do the whole thing because I wanna leave kind of the process there for future students. Is it recording? Yeah. Okay. Everyone see what I did? Okay. So now I wanna create like a false sense of space. So I'm actually gonna fake the eyeball in, right? I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna start to like darken up some of those spaces. And this is what they do in the movies. And because lighting isn't always gonna do its job, you actually have to come in and like help it do its job. Am I painting it just black? No. If you paint it black, it's gonna look like a big hole, right? It's gonna look horrible. So don't paint it black, right? You wanna use colors to your advantage. And I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna like blend out and grade out those spaces. You can see how I'm kind of like creating like an artificial sense of depth. And I'm not gonna leave it like that. Right, and I'll start to like break it down with water. And this is kind of like how you can stain your surface and make it feel like it's natural bone, if this is what you're going for. Does everyone see what I'm doing? This is really important. If everyone can look up, I'm gonna take a paper towel, and I'm just gonna touch it, all right? And then I'm gonna come back in with my whites, and I'll just like paint over some of those areas. And you can create like a lot of depth. It's kind of like not that visible on the camera, but I'll show you guys in real life. And I will dry it up. So how many coats is that? 2. How many coats did I say you needed? At least 3. And as it's drying, I'm gonna come back in with my brush. And it's got like just a little bit of water on it. And I'm gonna start to like break down some of those surfaces so that they show a little bit more depth. Now I'm gonna come on top with white. So I'm using my darker colors underneath, and now I can come up with my highlights, and I can actually create highlights on the surface. Okay, so I can go back and forth multiple times if I want, but this is kind of like what you want to like look for. All right, see, it's really subtle. Does that make sense to everyone? You want to make sure that when you're spraying away from your model and across, right? You don't want to start on it, because if you start on it and it splatters, it's going to ruin your model. So I always test it first and get it going, okay? And like make sure you can kind of see what the colors are that you're spraying. All right, and then I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna like spray, let's do gold on the fronts. I'm gonna spray off the surface and across it, just like this. Okay, and if I see any spots where it's not hitting, I'm gonna come back over and I'm gonna go both ways, okay? What I wanna make sure I don't do is overspray, right? So I'm gonna stop. If I keep on going, it's gonna start dripping. Right? Even though it doesn't look like it, it's going to accumulate very quickly. Okay? So he's really shiny and golden. So now I'm going to come back on with the black. This is why I didn't want you guys like next to it. It's going to overspray everywhere. And you see, like one of the things I want to make sure that I'm doing is always starting off the model and then coming back on the model. Make sure you were doing this outside, please. Okay? So the black is not nearly as strong as the gold, so it's taking a little bit more effort. And I'm just going to finish it up with the gold. Okay, and then we'll call it a day. All right, we're gonna let this guy dry for like 5 minutes, and then we'll bring it inside. Okay? Does anyone have any questions about that? You can kind of see what it looks like. Okay. You can get up close. It just kind of stinks. I just didn't want you guys getting sprayed by the paint. Okay. It's gonna leave like a really clean line if you do it right. Okay. Alright, so you'll have like your shiny side and your matte side.